Welcome to another episode of Childish Grown-Ups. And on Childish Grown-Ups, we're rewatching childhood films with a twist. Doing this podcast is what makes us stoop kids to leave the stoop so y'all can come meet us outside at home base to discuss movies. I'm not alone. I'm here with both my hosts, Mia G and Ash. How y'all ladies feeling?
Feeling good, feeling great. How are you?
Feeling pretty good.
Yeah, same. Feeling good. I'm always looking forward to this in the hectic weekends that always seem to occur. This is one of those days. It's like, oh, yes, I get to have fun. I get to have fun at some point doing all of this other stuff I don't want to do as a grown up. So it's good to be here. Um, we've talked about what we're going to do as far as the next set of movies, but we'll elaborate a little bit further at the end of the episode. We're going to get into our flash with Ash, but before we do that, Ash, do you got we got some stoop kids. We got some people to acknowledge that decided to come off the stoop and come to the playground and chop it up with us about film or leave a comment or review or like. You got that pulled up, Ash?
But you want me to do that? Okay. We did get our first comment on our Toy Story episode. Let me get that pulled up 1 second.
Yeah. And for those while she's doing that, feel free, feel comfortable. This is a comfortable space for y'all to, link up with us, chop it up with us. We're on YouTube as well as Spotify, Apple, and all your podcasts. Of course, the algorithm will continue to make this grow so that y'all can, also get y'all escape, get y'all fix, get y'all nostalgic, swim here at this show, Childish Grown-Ups. Y'all can reach out to us, childishgrownups3@gmail.com. Ash, you got?
Indeed. I got it pulled up. This is from Public Enemy B. He said, "This is definitely making me want to do a Toy Story marathon this weekend." So shout out to you, man.
Yeah, shout out to him. Some of y'all don't know that we have other podcasts out there, and he's been like a steady supporter. When I was doing another week in the books, he's still over there, of course, supporting as well as I. And he just always leaves comments. He's just faithful to staying involved with just dropping something and also just sharing on Twitter and stuff like that. So I was so glad to see him there. Shout out to school as well. And there was another person, Mia, you said that you knew that left a comment on our very first.
Yes. I think his name on there is like Catalyst.
Mm-hmm. That
But
sounds familiar.
yeah. It's one of my people I believe I brought to the pod.
Okay. See, word of mouth, number one marketing. So but we thank all y'all stoop kids for checking us out, man. Continue to tune in, man. We got a exciting or an interesting episode, to say the least, today. I can't wait. So, before we get into the introduction of this movie, Ash.
Yes, sir. You see the mic. You already know what time it is. Flash with Ash. So I got 2 interesting facts for you, and then I have some trivia, okay? So I'm going to do the facts first. And seeing as though the Goofy movie came out in 2000, I'm going to start with the 2000 fact. The boy Santana that came out with Maria, Maria. That song was the longest running single of 2000, topping the charts for 10 weeks. So I thought that was a cool fact. Came out in the 2000s, and who wasn't singing that song, right?
Hey, listen. That song is so fire. Even DJ Khaled flipped it. Obviously that Rihanna and Bryson Tiller record, Wild Thoughts. And then even an interview years ago, Wyclef talked about, like, if you really listen, he emulated the Wu-Tang song, that doom 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 doom. Wu-Tang ain't nothing to F with. That he said that's literally, if you really listen, that's where I got it from. And that was I think it was a Drink Champs interview many years ago. But I remember hearing that and I listened, I said, oh, that is crazy. But I love that song. I thought it was, and I love to see y'all thoughts on it, but I thought I thought it was so dramatic as a kid. Being an emotional, I ain't gonna say emotional, but emotionally aware kid. I remember thinking like the way he was singing, I'm like, well, what's gonna happen? Like Maria, Maria, like the way he was singing, like doing all that and stuff. So yeah, it was a very, very good song.
It definitely was like some storytelling at its finest at that time. And then all those live instruments, it just was elevating it even more. Okay. So another interesting fact, a Russian astronaut, Alexandra Serebrov, became the first person to play a video game in space when he packed a Game Boy and his personal copy of Tetris for his trip to the Mir space station in 1993.
Yeah, listen.
I said we talked about the Sega Genesis, we talked about the Nintendo 64. We didn't talk about the Game Boy. So he took a Game Boy in space in 1993. That definitely was like, what? I thought that was so dope. Who knew you could do that?
And let me ask, if y'all could like try to sneak something, go up into space to be like the first person to get something off, what would you take to space to be like, yeah, I know ain't nobody did this. I'm taking this with me. let me take a stab at it. Something like maybe I would say like an iPod or something like the original, but that probably has been done. I guess it's so different now. Like it's like everything feels so possible. At that time, that was like so probably innovative. I guess I can't think of nothing that would be. Everything seems like it's just been done these days. So I don't know. But
this is a family-friendly pod. Has anybody taken a bottle of wine to space?
Yeah. They gotta have something like that.
They got the little small bottles too, so
they gotta like, you know what? Nobody might have done it because you probably got to be super sober to do that. So that might be a good pick, actually. I like where you're going.
Some Tic Tacs. Don't judge.
You said taking some what?
Some Tic Tacs. Something to snack on.
Something to snack.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Orange kind.
The orange kind. You know better than that. The wood told you better. Come on now.
Hey, it's like candy though. Like I don't need my breath to be fresh. It's just me. I'm chilling.
I don't know. The breath is different in space. You know what I'm saying? No. All right. I like it. Those are some interesting facts, man.
Appreciate that. All right. Let's get into this trivia though. Mia G and Mo. First question. What is the name of Angelica's doll in Rugrats?
Come on.
I have multiple choice, but if you feel like a true stoop kid today, have at it.
We
know this. It's what Cynthia. It's Cynthia.
That's correct. Hey,
yeah, she loves Cynthia, and she was raggedy to the mug, bro.
Oh, why was her hair looking crazy? Like it's the owner, but
she was definitely taking Cynthia like in the bathtub, taking Cynthia like at the dinner table. Like that's why Cynthia been through it. Like she was taking that doll everywhere, no matter what the case. Like you're not leaving the house and pulling the driveway out without your kid taking Cynthia. Like that's the type of doll that was.
Okay. Second question. Only one Gross sister speaks on the Proud Family. Which one is it? Is it Olay, Nubia, or Gina? And I can give you our descriptions of them if you need that.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I need descriptions because I think I know which one based on description, but if Mia knows,
I feel like I have a guess, but I don't want to say it until you.
Okay. So Gina is the short one. Nubia has the cornrows, and Olay is the bigger one.
I know now.
I knew this probably give it away.
What you got, me? I'll see if I got the same you got.
I feel like it was Nubia with the cornrows.
Yep, that's why I said Nubia. Yep.
That is correct.
Come on.
I knew that description was gonna give it away.
Oh man, yeah.
So I was like,
Olay was talking.
I thought that was a good question. I was like,
that's a great question. Like, but I remember her bullying. I remember her like getting really in her face about stuff, and so yeah. Okay.
All right, last one. What is Twister's real name on Rocket Power? Twister's the one that had the backwards hat.
Mm.
And I had multiple choice.
Yeah.
Sam, Oswald, Manny, or Maurice.
I remember there was a joke about it on an episode. I'm gonna say Maurice. That's my guess.
It would be. Oh shoot, I don't know. I'm gonna say Manny.
It is Maurice.
Aha.
Of course.
I remember it's like this.
Yeah,
I remember
because
like I was like, oh, like yeah.
we used to say that because he had your name. It was like, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Like I'm
yeah.
like, when we're kids, Maurice seemed like an adult name. So I'm like,
yeah.
how is he a Maurice? That just didn't make sense.
Right.
To me.
It's like Gladys and
Yes.
Miriam and all of them classic. It's like these people had to be young at one point. You named him Cletus. Like he was a young high schooler named Cletus.
Bro,
anyway.
they gotta call you Clea or something like.
Yeah,
yeah,
Cleon or something like, all right. Was that the last one?
That was the last one.
All right. Dope.
Good questions, Ash.
Yes.
Appreciate that.
Nostalgia. We drown you in nostalgia here. Real quick, any childish grown-up moment this week that stood out that y'all feel the need to bring to the forefront?
I do have one. Our little brother Anthony came over to spend the night. And my son's name is Anthony as well. So they both come in the room. They're like, we're bored. This is how I know I'm old, because I'm like, well, why don't y'all just take a nap? That was something that the parents used to say to us, like,
yeah,
you got video games, you got everything you want, and you talking about you bored. Well, just take a nap. They're like, no, we're not gonna take a nap. But we end up playing the game Memory with cards. You know how you put them face down and you try to guess, match them up. So that was a childish moment, because I love Memory even as an adult. I think it's just fun.
Yeah,
keeps the thinking fresh. So yeah, I played Memory with them, and of course played some video games. So that was my childish growing up moment.
You guys have like a little brother?
Yes, we do. He
could be our son.
Right.
He
is 10.
Oh.
Yeah. Black families, gotta love it.
Okay. I do have a childish grown up moment too. It was actually just yesterday. My mom had a birthday party for her husband. And so it was like, mostly like I was probably the youngest person there. And and so it was like a bunch of my like aunties and like older people. And it was just like I felt like a little kid, because my mom, they're playing all the old school music and they're playing some music from when we were kids. And my mom was treating me like to get up and show them that little dance. And I'm like, Mom, oh, mommy.
Oh, did you do the dance?
Yes.
Let's go.
But definitely had me feeling like a little kid. I was like, this is childish.
I'm getting out of here. I'll see you later.
I'm curious now.
Yeah, what was the dance?
Oh my God, y'all. Why would you? Okay.
Oh, you thought she was getting off the hook?
I'm gonna set the scene. The song that was playing was Right There by Chingy. So what dance she had me doing in front of her friends.
The chicken head.
And threw the turn on it.
Was you hitting it though? Like, was you hitting it with that?
Y'all, listen. This ain't about that, but yes, yes, I was. That was my thing.
Yeah,
you hitting the chicken head. Okay.
Chicken head. Come on, dog. Okay. Little heel toe action.
You can't play with me in that area, but this ain't about that.
Yeah, I love it. I did just see a clip like right before I got on our page. That I seen you had put it on your story, so it makes it even better that you just told it here, because that story would have never gave me the idea that you was hitting the chicken head. So yeah,
you know.
Yeah. I didn't have nothing different. Same typical like video game. Just we're doing the video game thing. So I don't think I had anything particular this week, but I keep an eye on it coming in the next episode, hopefully. So, Mia G, can you tell them about the episode we're doing today?
Absolutely. Let's get into it, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
So Mo chose the 2000 film An Extremely Goofy Movie.
Mm-hmm.
This movie, released on February 29th, 2000, was the follow-up or sequel to the 1995 film A Goofy Movie. And that is actually one of my favorite movies. But on this one, we have a lot of the same. We have, as far as casting, the iconic voice of Bill Farmer as Max Goof, Jeff Bennett as Bradley Uppercrust III, Jim Cummings as Pete, Rob Paulson as PJ, Pauly Shore as Bobby Zimmerowski, Brad Garrett as Tank, BB Newworth as Sylvia Marpole, and Vicki Lewis as Beret Girl in the cafe. So this was a straight to video or straight to Disney Channel movie. And so it didn't have quite as much fanfare as our previous films, but there were toys. And this time they were actually released by McDonald's. And they were the characters from the movie, and they were X game themed toys. So they were kind of like the characters on little skateboards or and they had like a little ramp to go with it. Which I thought was pretty cool. And yeah, I remember this movie coming out very well.
Okay. Well, since we're in it, what was your experience like back then, and what was your experience like watching it now, if you can recall?
Okay, so I remember this movie coming out. I was 9, and because I loved A Goofy Movie so much, I was really excited about it. And I remember seeing it, and I liked it at the time. However, I have to say, it's not as enjoyable a watch as I remembered it being. And now, like looking at it from a grown-up lens, I 100% get the messaging, but I found myself struggling to focus. And I watched it about 3 times to get all of my notes together. And I couldn't help myself but to keep comparing it to the original. And that was kind of where I found myself with this one. Still got some good takeaways, but I had a lot of like, okay, so I see where this film may have fallen a little flat in comparison. And I have like actual points as to why that may be.
Okay. I wanna once we give our kind of overall like look from before and after, I want to come back to that conversation before we get into pivotal moments, because there's a thing that Disney did with the sequels, and I think it ties into what your issue with the film is. I think I don't know if I synced y'all YouTube, but I watched like the rise and fall of DreamWorks and Disney and like certain things, and there was this rollout they did about that really kind of hurt a lot of their films. But I'll come back to that in a moment. Ash,
Yes, sir.
what was how do you remember it then? Is there anything you remember with this movie or then, and how was the experience watching it this time?
I don't remember this movie much back then. Because again, like Mia, I just remember how much I liked the first one. So I remember him going to college, but I didn't really remember the details of the movie. So when I watched it as an adult, I really did have to, it was like watching a new film for me. Because I just really didn't remember dang near any of it. And again, it was hard to compare to the first one. Just as Mia, I kind of would be on my phone, a little bit as I'm watching. It didn't draw me in as Toy Story, Lion King, or even the first one. So I was kind of like in and out of it,
Mhm.
and I had to watch it twice myself. I did take most of my notes on the first watch. Remember when I sent that to you? I think that was Friday night. But then I put it on again today just to kind of go through my notes, make sure I didn't miss anything potentially. But it was cool. But yeah.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Back then, watching this, I got to go back to the first one. I kind of was seeing a few things as I was looking up some stuff as far as getting into this one that I remember. But for some reason, this one always stuck with me more than the first one. Even though I know the first one, it was the adventurous father and dad on the trip, and he got different plans, but for some reason, this one always stuck with me. And the thing is that with this, like we grew up in an era where activity was promoted highly, and being outside was such a thing, and it was such a thing that we would wholeheartedly be upset if we couldn't be active and go outside, if we couldn't ride our bike, skate, get on a scooter, play basketball, play tag, whatever. Like this movie brought this back for me in some sense, and then also like playing Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, like that game of how we was not skateboard fans or X game fans, but playing that as a kid, like this brought some of those memories back. And then I remember this definitely being like a daycare staple for me. Like I think that's probably why it sticks a little bit more for me for whatever reason. But I want to have that conversation. So the Disney sequels, it really kind of hurt the franchise. I mean, they still did what they did, but they decided to start releasing films more frequently at any cost because leadership started to change, and they said, "Hey, we're gonna start moving everything, sequel and everything, in which you get a Lion King 2 or 1.5, or I can't remember which one came after the other. You get the Toy Story 2, Pocahontas 2, Beauty and the Beast 2. We get all of the sequels, and Aladdin 2, and a lot of them are bad. A lot of them are, to me, they're not good. They hurt plot points. People die or in the first one, then they come back and rewrite it, say, oh, they're not gone, they're back. The Return of Jafar. They're doing things. They did a lot of those weird things. I would ask y'all, what is? Well, I guess I'd imagine. I think I could guess what y'all think is the best sequel in that era, but I'll ask anyway. What was the best sequel to the original Disney released film?
I'm gonna go with Simba's Pride, the Lion King sequel.
I thought for sure you was going Toy Story 2.
Oh, okay. So I'm thinking of like the Disney collection type of. Now, Toy Story 2 isn't even in this.
That was a theater release.
Yes.
Okay, so that don't count. Yeah.
Like that was a thing. Toy Story is its own like lane of things, kind of like Shrek in a way. But as far as like the Disney animated films, I would go with Simba's Pride.
I think I have to go with that. I enjoy that just as much as the first one, I'd probably say. I still like the first one better, but the second is very good as well.
I think it's this one for me. I remember watching all of those sequels at some point. Like it was so weird that you didn't even know some of them had sequels. Like that's how bad that release technique was. You're like, well, they got a Pocahontas too. Like what?
Yeah.
Like
I remember Pocahontas 2 very well. It was made. Aladdin 2 was also like I skip over that one and I'll go to the third Aladdin movie, King of Thieves, and I like that one better than I like The Return of Jafar.
Yeah, I don't remember the Beauty and the Beast second one.
I remember that one too.
Was that bad as well?
Okay.
Yeah, I don't even remember a lot of these twos. Yeah,
that's what I'm getting at.
I watched them.
I think the second. Okay, you know what? I actually like The Little Mermaid.
I was just about to get there. Little Mermaid.
I like that one. I feel like the Beauty and the Beast sequel that I remember was like a holiday movie.
Hmm.
I don't recall it being like its own thing. I just remember like a Christmas type of thing.
You may not be far off. Did he turn back into the beast or anything like that?
Mhm.
Okay, that's probably
It was
where.
like a in the time she was still there type of sequel, not
Mm,
like after the
okay,
fact.
like a 1.5 Lion King type
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Okay. But yeah, so for me, this one, I'm interested to see the points, and I think I'm looking forward to seeing where it didn't land for y'all as much, and that's the beauty of the show. Like, this is not about just us loving every film; it's about us discussing and
Mhm.
seeing kind of our takes and what we look at with it, and that's the enjoyable part. I do enjoy when having reviews and hearing somebody have a whole different perspective where I don't like it. Shout out to Culture Garden, but I love the Queen and Slim episode, where Ray P went off on that movie and she single-handedly Kobe Bryant that
Oh,
film. Like, man, like hate watches are funny too. Like, so that's welcome. So I always want y'all as my co-host to feel very comfortable and candid. And if you didn't like it, you're not gonna hurt my feelings, or I hope I don't hurt your feelings, or whatever it is, or but that's what we do here. These perspectives are needed. So all right. Is there any more overall discussion y'all need to say about the film before we get
I
into
will,
pivotal moments?
I'll say that it's not that I don't like this movie, it's more so that like if this was a standalone film, if this had been the only Goofy movie released, I probably would like it more.
Okay.
But just the way that it didn't hold up to the original kind of makes it
Mm-hmm.
a little bit less enjoyable for me because if I felt like it had a lot to live up to.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I think I'm gonna watch the original this week, and I'm a hit y'all with a little bit of notes, just not like notes as far as watching notes, but notes as far as maybe okay, I see where y'all coming from, or I see it this way. I'm gonna watch it just to see. Maybe I missed something. Maybe it's been a while, and I'm going by how often I've seen this one versus the other. So, yeah, I'm a hick shot with that.
That's
But
nostalgia. You
yeah,
have nostalgia for this film that you
yeah,
don't have.
that's true. That's true. But it. I don't know. I think this is a movie. I guess I don't know. It ages better. Not better than the first one necessarily, because I'm not gonna make that call. But it ages well in comparison to all of the second Disney movies, and even to me, the Goofy. I guess I didn't see it as it was compromised as much, but again, I got to watch the other one because once I watch that original, it might be like, okay, all right, yeah, it's totally
College
different.
aspect for you, bro,
Yeah, the
that
college aspect is
resonated the
huge,
most to you. I
huge,
figured that was what it was.
huge element. Yeah. So that definitely play a part, but we'll get more into those things. I thought the ball in your court first, actually, Ash. Getting into our pivotal moments.
Okay. I got the intro right out the gate. Um, Goofy got the band-aid on his head. I'm talking intro. He already got the band-aid on his head. He probably already had an accident, and then he hits the thing. It falls and drops on his toes, and he's banged up. So it's already kind of walking you into. And again, if you've seen the first, you kind of know what's up. But if you're brand new and you go straight to the second, it already kind of walks you into he's clumsy, goofy, hence the name, and it kind of sets the tone for like what we about to get into. Just off of that initial. Um, and then I got more, but do you want me to stop there and then kind of?
You got the opening as well, Mia?
Not the like pre-credit opening, no.
Okay, no, I ain't got the pre-credit. We're probably both in the post-credit, I guess, opening. Is that what you have, Ash? Is that what you're getting into?
I got
like
that too.
Okay, we'll go ahead and get into that part because we'll all kind of give a little piece of that.
So yeah, they're out there. Max is excited that he's going off to college. He's been able to get away from his dad. And Goofy's overhearing the conversation with him and the other kids, PJ and quote
Bobby.
me on the
Bobby.
Bobby. Hey, shout out to Bobby.
Shout out to Bobby.
What's that? Pauly Shore or whatever.
Pauly
Yeah,
Shore.
he did his
Killed
thing
it,
on that.
killed
Did his
it.
big one. Goofy overhearing, how excited Max is to get to college, and he's obviously starting to have those internal sad feelings. he's over there with PJ's dad, and he's just, coming to the realization that, hey, my boy is about to go off. So it's probably like a bittersweet feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna miss him, but you're happy he's going to college. Yeah. So I'll stop there and let you guys tap
Okay.
in.
Big G.
So yeah, I had that scene too, and I thought it was just like I'm not gonna talk about the first film, but I'll just say a good like continuation. They keep very consistent with like the story points between like the relationship between Max and Goofy. Because Max is just like Goofy is an overbearing dad. He's a super
Oh
overbearing
my
dad.
God.
And it's like, dude, oh my goodness.
Maxley.
It was like, and so
Like,
Max is
dude,
thirsty to go away. He's like, I can't wait to get out of here. And so Goofy, he gives them he's trying to give them the lecture about going to college and staying focused on their goals with the horseshoe and everything. And I thought it was really sweet. But even then, he looks up and they gone. They're already at the table. Nobody's paying any attention.
Right.
And it's like he's just failing to accept that, the grasp is slipping a little bit. Max is like growing up. He still sees him as a little baby. And then I have like the scene going into,
The morning.
at night and the next
Mhm.
day when he actually leaves.
Okay, we can get into that part too, because I did have a little bit of that. Interesting for me is like Pete and Goofy's different perspective with their parents. I mean, with their children. I can't wait to get to the end of this. I got some things to say. Come on, I can't miss you. I can't miss you if you don't leave. Hey, listen. As a parent, I love my babies. However, there was a time before when I was Maurice the third, and so there was some interesting things that I found myself connecting with. Looking at it from the parent perspective, looking at it from the adolescent perspective. They heard the speech before. Goofy's doing the thing, and he's trying to. This is his last piece of influence. He's trying to, don't go there, make you get your education. They're doing that, but they're like, man, look, we lit. We gonna get on campus. We taking over. They only champs because we ain't showed up. You know what I'm saying? They completely focus on something else, and they over there getting their eat on. And look, it's time. So I love that. I love their perspectives. Again, we'll get more into how overbearing Goofy is, and some people got parents like that. And some of us may be parents like that. So but yeah, I that whole opening scene, it was pretty cool. It felt very realistic for it to be an animation. So did you have that as well, Ash, that night and morning?
I do.
Okay.
He goes in his room.
Okay, yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah, so Max is in the room packing up college. I mean, he can't wait to go to bed. Like that really just takes you into how smothering his dad Goofy is. Like, bro, I cannot wait to get some shut eye so I can dip up out of here. So yeah, and then Goofy comes in, tries to pack up the little bear that Max sleeps with. Oh, stuffed bear, I think it was named or whatever it was. And he's like, I'm not taking that to college. He trying to let Goofy realize, bro, I'm not a kid. I'm about to go off to college. You trying to, and he really was like forcing it low key, like really trying to make him pack it. How you make me take this teddy bear?
Bro.
Now, granted, of course, hindsight, you went to bed still with the teddy bear.
Right.
At this big age. So your dad really do know, like you sleep better with it. Keep it a bean. Yeah, just and then he gave him the gift. He's excited. He wondering what it is. He opens it up. What is that though? I was gonna ask y'all. I didn't know. It's a typewriter.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. But I was like, is it a calculator thing or yeah, he gave him a typewriter, said it came from his dad, and he's just like, dude, you're blowing it, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
So at this point, but even there was a little moment where Max was like still trying to handle his dad with kitty gloves. He was like, "Oh, I'm sure gonna miss you," or whatever he said, and then he's like, oh, it won't be that. Whatever he says, like it's not gonna be that bad or something. Still trying to like, even though he's ready to go, he's still
Yeah.
trying to handle his dad with care.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so that night going into that morning, I have when Max is just like in the van, him, Bobby, and Pete, and they're like, or PJ, I'm sorry, PJ, and they're like dipping out, and Goofy is trying to chase him down. And I also had a little point in there, and I was like, Goofy had a real nice house to work at this toy factory. I was
Yeah.
looking at the kitchen. See, these are adult things that you
Oh yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah. Of course, of course.
Like, that's a big kitchen. It's a
But you
nice.
could, he could be working night shift. You know what I'm saying? He could be working night shift. You know, factory warehouse jobs. They tend to pay a little bit more. You
Getting
know,
that differential.
I could see that working though. Like you get the warehouse, like that warehouse. You could get paid working at a warehouse. Like I don't work a warehouse, but you know, you could definitely. You know, there's ways
Crib
to.
was cold, yeah.
And we're talking about 2000 too, so you know the
Right,
cribs
right.
was. I know we're getting crazy on the animation, but I didn't find it. There's some faulty things, but I didn't find that to be too crazy. But I mean, the house being that big with them two is nuts, though.
Goofy got a big house, nice little garage with the okay. But anyway, back to I was saying that you could tell that Goofy just was a very loving father, but you know, Max was he was ready to go. So I have that scene, but I have going into, of course, when they actually arrive at the college.
Mm, okay. Um. Yeah. Again, so for me, like the night, so all the things y'all said too, but it's like also like with the teddy bears, like, bro, do you understand? Like, bro, you like I'm about to get lit with the chicks, bro. Like this teddy bear is not happening, bro. At all, dog. I love you, Dad, but come on, man. You need more than that. You trying to scratch that kitty cat. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to that's why they call you Johnson. But seriously, like, bro, I like girls, Dad. Like he did in the first. I like girls, and now I'm dealing with older girls. I'm about to be a freshman in college, 17, 18, maybe 19, whatever. It's like I'm not taking no teddy bear, and then even in the morning, like his dad preparing him this dope meal and kind of creating this like last little ritual, and him rolling out with his friends to college. Like it's crazy work too. Like I mean, I know people have done this, but it is like crazy work to like roll out to leave the house for a long time, and you're going with just friends. Like I and I ain't gonna say it's crazy work. It's unfamiliar for me because that's not nothing about this crazy. People do it all the time. It's unfamiliar for me because it's so sentimental. It's like, bro, this is my first taste of adulthood, and that's my experience getting dropped off. Like, bro, I was mad homesick the moment they dropped me off. They walked me in my dorm, helped me get my stuff in. Like, all right, well, we're gonna see you later. I guess we'll see you you know, I guess the holidays, bro. This is weird. I'm used to having a room in my mom and dad's house. What do you mean? This is my room now. Ain't no parents around. This is weird, bro. Like I don't know what to do, how I'm gonna eat, how I'm gonna and like just rolling out with that speaks to how drowning Goofy must have been to Max because it's like, bro, I don't care what it is, bro. We grab a donut on the way. I don't care if you got bacon, eggs, grits, you got the works. I'll grab a donut because you are getting on my last. You know what I'm saying? And that's crazy, but you know, and so we can get into like them pulling up, but I love the camaraderie between the brotherhood of them three and they rolling, they don't know where they're going and all that. So we'll get into that. Like it's just such an adventure for me with this film. So is that what you got next, Ash, to pull up on campus?
Just that brief moment, yeah, they pull up and how they see all the girls and they're just in awe with the whole college scene. Um, I think I have something after that, so I'll let Mia or you
Oh yeah.
talk about that.
All right, me, you got it.
Okay, yeah. So I was gonna say, them pulling up to the school, and like Ash said, they see the girls in little workout gear running, and it's like, oh man, is this what they had doing in the Disney movies back in the
Hey, listen.
It was, but because I remember when I first went to college, I went out of state, ended up coming back, but another story for another day. But when I got dropped out, because I went far, I went to, so I'm from Ohio, and I went to Florida A&M when I first
Ooh,
went.
wee.
And my mom, my cousin, and my stepdad all came like down with me to drop me off. And it was like such a big deal. And I was like, they really just gonna drive by themselves without, they don't get dropped off. Like it was a thing. But even then, like I guess, Hollywood movie magic, all the kids are there. You don't see any parents. So I guess in this particular universe, it was just a thing. But they get there and they've already been talking about the gammas. And so the whole thing around the X Games and how Bradley upper crust the third. And, they get there, they see him, and Max is already off him. He's like, you know what? Like, yeah, we about to toast them. It's nothing.
Yeah.
And then you see, I remember just thinking, is this really like Bradley upper crust the third is the X Games champ? Like he
Bruh.
looks like such a square. But
Crazy.
I guess that's how they portray, frat boys in these types of movies. But it was just so funny to me. But yeah, I guess you could say there's a little bit of nostalgia there for the college experience and how it is to get that little first taste of adulthood.
Mm-hmm.
And it is family friendly.
Yeah. It was a
Family
whole new
friendly-ish.
world. Ish, definitely. Yeah, same thing, man. And pulling up on calendar. I like how the animators really took time with drawing out this campus. It felt really good. They immersed you in that world. It felt like it brought you into that animation. Just the color schemes, the outfits, the way these are all dogs, but they, again, Disney and their artist list of animators always find a way to humanize these cartoon characters. Like it's really good. Like we got characters now like Gumball and Adventure Time or whatever they're watching now, and it's like they don't really look human. Like which they don't have to. It's a cartoon. They're not an animal. They're an animal, but or whatever they are. But I do appreciate this here, and just getting there, and I don't know if I'm too far. I'm probably maybe where Ash is, but like just how excited they was to get on campus, and there's an in between scene. I don't know, Ash, if you was talking about that with the Goofy getting fired or whatever.
I got that.
All right, so but I just finished the rest of this, but them skating and like flexing as a freshman on campus on the Gammas, like like he was getting to it, catching frisbees, hot dogs, like just like, bro, I'm that dude for real. Watch out! I've been waiting for your sweet and sour chicken ass, like that. That's how I felt when he got there. Like, all right, bro, and he was excited. We'll get there later down the road, but yeah, go ahead, Ash. You got a little bit at the Goofy.
Yeah, like you said, he a freshman coming in, like ready to take over. Like Gamma's who, right? It's like some stop the yard type. You know what I mean? You trying to recruit Columbus, and he's smoking your boots. You know what I mean? The best, right? So, like the confidence that he did exude for this to be his first experience. I mean, maybe because he did have his friends with him, that I'm sure that helped.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't completely solo, so that was kudos to the writers and creators. But yeah, I do have where Goofy is at work on the assembly line. My boy is out of it. He is so sad. My niggas at work don't even want to be here. He don't know what to do now that Max is gone. He is extremely sad. So, he put the toy together, the toy on the assembly line, and then he's like seeing Max, like, he's having that epiphany, whatever.
Yeah.
And then the boss is like, yo, this is assembly line. Let's get to it. My nigga blew the whole damn plant up. I'm like, okay, it's a normal, right? Then you put it in reverse, and then you put it forward. But nigga was trying to get the toys, like trying to keep up with the line. It's impossible. So the fact that he was really trying, like, it just went, like, nigga, at this point, I'm suing you. Like, we have to go to court.
Oh, you're going to jail, nigga, when I get done with you.
There's no fired. Like, this is a court case. Nigga blew the whole plan up. Like,
nigga, you been served, bro.
Hey man, he reversed right into the thing and boom, like
Goofy, I warned you.
you're fired.
I used to say this all the time, bro. Like that quote,
Yeah,
like I warned you, like blow the whole plan up.
yeah, that was crazy work.
Oh
Like my
man,
boy is so out of it. And you just lost your job.
bruh.
So yeah,
Oh man, I'm sorry. I forgot. Like you're saying, it is playing back in my head. There's just animated parts that are so funny visually. I'll
oh
talk
yeah,
with the more scenes that when you said it, just made me like, bruh, blowing the whole plan up. Like I'm sorry, type. Like it's
right,
crazy. So, but yeah.
yeah. So I had that.
One thing I'll say about this movie is it has some of the funniest, just little random scenes. Like there's one later, but
Yes, we might have the same one because if you had what I had, bro, I was in
I hope
tears.
so because it was hilarious. Like I
Uh,
laughed loud.
okay, good, good. Well, what do you have next?
So I had that, but then my boy Goofy, I think he had ADHD, and I can relate.
Okay,
He needs Adderall. Um, because to just be that unfocused while you're working is crazy. But then I had like
like, is it? This is about as bad as Jumanji. Like when the dude got the shoe in the warehouse, bro. Like,
hey,
oh man,
you
sorry,
blew the plant. Oh my, you need some medication.
bro.
But so then I had how they jumped from Goofy losing his job to the Java Bean. I had their first
Okay,
little encounter at the Java Bean
me too.
where they meet Beret Girl. She doesn't even have a name. They just have her in the credits as Beret Girl.
I feel like
And
that's how she would like it too.
she was fire. I remember the first time I saw this movie, I was like, oh, she's so cool. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah,
this is what people in college do. They just go to coffee shops and do spoken word and
yeah.
snap.
They was giving you the hipster vibes early. You remember Doug's sister?
Uh-huh.
She was like
mm-hmm.
that. Judy, I think that's her name. Like she was same thing. Like that kind of like, the low
Yeah, that
whispery. Like
energy.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I speak a little more to that. But anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry, man.
But yes, I had that scene where Bobby is like, they all kind of like fall in love with her,
Mm-hmm.
but she's doing her spoken word, and you see them being like, it just reminded me of like, I feel like all the little 90s shows had, and even movies had this like idea of what it was like to be a young adult, like college age. It was all this like hipster and introspective,
Mm-hmm.
like, existential
Yes.
vibe
Yes.
that they had going on. But they're there and they're watching the spoken word, and then Bradley Uppercrust III comes again. And that's when you have that challenge or their little wager um about the X Games.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that was all I had for that.
Um. Yeah, I love that challenge. It's the classic trope too, where it's like, oh man, did y'all hear that? They want us. It was like, nah. This is a one ticket, situation. We just want you. And he's like, nah. If you can't get all of us, you can't get none of us. You know what I'm saying? Because we came in this thing together, we leaving together, and I love that, and that sets it up, and of course Bradley Uppercrust the third is looking at him crazy, like, hey, bro, like, don't you realize? And it wouldn't have worked out anyway if Max got over because Max wouldn't have been down for them cheating anyway. Like, unless because they could finesse later down the road when we get there with Goofy, but you can't finesse Max. Like, you can't get him on that program anyway. So it worked out perfectly. But that, and I mean, I think they called her, he called her Miss Macachino.
Miss
He said,
Mochaccino.
excuse me, Miss Macachino, but I'm busy right now. Bradley Uppercrust, the voice actor for him that did a great job because it fits the look. And, something you said earlier, it is kind of like he's this overly preppy dude, but you do get a scene at some point where like his shirt is off and he's like, oh, okay, so he's like actually in shape. That's the only bell that kind of helps me, like, okay, because without that, I'm like, come on, bro. Like, there's no way you skateboard, not in a million years, dude. Like, but But yeah, I love that, and I remember back then. If y'all listen to this pod, and I don't know what other films we'll do in the future, but like I'm not a big poetry guy. I don't really like poetry because it always comes off to me like fake deep. I just y'all always get that with me. So the character, she was cool. I mean, I liked her cool vibe. And being older, I understood what she was saying. So I was like, oh, okay. Back then, I was like, bro, what is she talking about? As a kid, but older, I'm like, oh, okay, you're killing my vibe. You're messing up the vibe up in here. We chilling, and you coming in here with your ignorance, and you coming in here setting up wagers and acting crazy. And it's like, bro, chill out. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, that's pretty much what I got for that scene. And I love the scenery, of course, and that they'll come back to that later. And it was a real staple in this film.
I had pretty much
Yeah.
the same that y'all had. Recruitment, him trying to make him a gambler and trying to lead the guys, just shows the character of Max and his loyalty to his friends. I thought
Yeah.
that was dope because you're coming in again, you're new to the scene. You might be trying to fit in with whoever's popular, just because
course.
you're new. But again, him coming in with the crew already, he felt at home. So I just love how he stood loyal because a lot of people may have flipped in that
Yeah.
moment and he
Yeah.
didn't. So it just, again, the character, Max is a stand-up dude. So it's crazy how goofy is his dad. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he had to raise him, right? So he
Mhm.
obviously did a good job because Max is a good dude, but
Mhm.
it's so funny how different they are.
Yeah.
So yeah, pretty much touched on everything else, but that I like how he stayed loyal to the guys. So
Nice. Okay, so what do y'all have next? Ash, what do you have next? Because I think we're in alignment right now.
I know, right? I got the unemployment office.
Okay, Mia.
I didn't have that. I actually skipped over that one.
I did too. I think you got the next one after that, right? Okay, so Ash, go for
I
it.
mean, but that was it was just funny. Her voice was so like, I mean, she was trying to like persuade him to go back to college, and he like, dude, I did that years ago. Like, the only way I can get a job is to get a degree. Like, I just thought that was extreme. Like, I can't go work at another warehouse. I gotta get a whole degree.
Bro, listen.
Like, he was putting toys together. How we go from that
Bro, I
to
can put
needing a whole bachelor's and master's? Like, it's crazy work. But
like, bro, I can literally put burgers together, dog. Like,
right.
what?
So I was just like, you
I
ain't got
that
nothing
money
for
you need for that mortgage.
You're right. He do need like that Pete. Pete probably got him that gig. That's what I always thought. I said Pete got him that gig because there's no way.
I can
Like,
see that.
Pete got him that gig. Pete probably talked to the boss quite a few times of like, hey man, you gotta go easy on Goofy. He's a good dude, but he's
A little clumsy,
a
but
little clumsy, and that's why you get the I warned you. Like, bro, I've been telling you for the longest. Like, nigga, you're fired. So now having unemployment in an animated film is like it's such an interesting thing. Like that's why I like this movie. Maybe not as fun and playful as the other one, but it's just interesting. Interesting for it to be a goofy movie. Out of all Disney characters, they choose to take this route, and it has these mature themes, not overly mature, but like mature themes that you don't really show. Like, oh, he's working at a job, it goes bad, he ends. Eventually we're going to get to when he tells Max he got fired. We're getting these things that, like, as an adult, for me, I like, man, this is really, it's landing for me from that perspective of it. Like, now as a kid, I could look back and be like, okay, I probably was more like, let's get to the X Games. As a kid, because I'm like, let's get to the fun, let's get to the stuff I connect with. But as an adult, I'm enjoying all of this like little contextual, storytelling leading up to what we get to. So, yeah. But anyway, so the the next scene. So I imagine all three of us got this.
you're better right now.
So Mia, go for it.
Goofy showing up to the college class with that 70s outfit with the humongous afro wig. Oh my goodness. Just embarrassing.
Oh my
And
God.
poor Max, like, no. Why? And of course, a true Goofy fashion. I'm his dad. This is my son.
Like, bruh. Oh my.
I'm yearning for some learning. Oh my God.
Oh my.
Max.
Max, that's the laugh out loud
Bro.
moment I'm talking about. Max.
Like, chill, Dad.
This
Like,
is my worst nightmare. I thought I got away, bro. Like that's what it's like. Oh my god, I got away. I didn't even eat breakfast. Nigga, I got out of there. Thank you, Jesus. I'm out of there. And you get class, you get cool. You try to get your reps up, and you the door opens. You thinking a new student comes in, and your dad comes in thinking he's fly in his 70s fit with an afro, and you hear that laugh and that voice, and you're like, Dad, what are you doing? Bruh, listen to me. Like, oh my man, this was so relatable, and it was so I would throw his face in the chat, bro. Cause it is
if you got Max's face, bro,
I'm throwing it in there. I might have to throw it on our YouTube video, bro.
My laugh out loud moment is actually the next scene.
Okay.
But that was hilarious too.
Okay, but yeah, Ash, what you want to add to that, man? Because I know you got that on your. I
mean, pretty much, me hit it on the nose. Like, that is not who you're expecting to walk through the door. And then he all confident, like, you walking in here with teenagers. You thinking you walking in here with 70, like grown people. Like, you're not in the right time. You're in the wrong year, Goofy. He thought that he was putting that wig on, that was gonna really make it better. And then out of all schools, like, why was that the college that he had to go to? I don't want to be around you, Dad.
That face, bro.
Then you didn't even sit in the back of the class. You came right up to me. Hey, Maxie. Oh,
you calling me back?
Hit me with a nickname in public. What?
Listen,
so bad.
The face that Max has, bro. You gotta understand, like, that is the level.
Yeah, he's traumatized for the rest of his life. Can I believe?
I need to say that,
bro. The idea, there's no way in the world. My dad.
This is not
he
possible.
escaped. I thought I got away. There's no way in the world. My dad.
Yo, there's no way he's in my class right now. This gotta be a nightmare. There's no way.
Bro, listen, like, I could not stop crying like now, because it's like his face, like anything else I could imagine but this. There's just no way my 40-something-year-old dad would end up as a college student with me on the same campus, all the schools, all the things, all the jobs. Like, oh my God, bro. I'm sorry, this is some of the funniest, like, the first two movies we did, it was a little different tone, but bruh, this I'm sorry. Goofy. I'm being unprofessional right now, but like, just getting into the scene, I knew it was gonna happen, bro. That face, I threw it in the chat. I'm gonna throw it on the screen, probably on YouTube for y'all to see. Like, man, listen.
They gotta see what we see. They got to.
Absolutely. But I guess for me too, just Goofy, same thing, walking in, like, I'm yearning for some learning, like he's shaking his hips, he dapping niggas.
Like, they don't know you.
Like, bro, he dapping niggas walking in, like, he fly, he got his baby blue joint on, and like, bro, like, just how quickly it affected Max's reputation. It's like, golly, bro, I was on the way, I was gonna be a cool freshman. I mess around and pull me an upperclassman, because I got the sauce like that. I'm doing my thizzle on the skateboard. I got my crew, my boys. I'm pulling up at the coffee shop. They seeing me. They know my face. They respect it. And he comes in and just obliterates all of that. And then we'll get to a later scene where it's like it doubles down and makes it even worse for Max. So I got that scene as well. What's the next scene? Let's see what you got next, Mia. What you got next?
So I just have the scene where after Goofy shows up and after class, Max talks to him, but then after all that, he's already told Max, it's a year. Max threw away his Afro wig, and then we go back to the dorm where Max is basically telling his friends, like, cut the old man some slack. He's lost his job. He has to do this for a year, just a year. I talked to him. He's got his life. I've got mine. It's gonna be cool. If the moment, like, when Bobby pops from under them covers and he got the afro wig, I holler. Because why did he have on the afro wig?
Exactly. Like, dude.
Like, those are the little silly things
Yes.
that just make this movie, like, it's so silly.
It's very silly.
Like, but
I think you need that level of silliness with such a mature theme. And that's I laughed at that too. I'm like, why does this nigga got the afro? Like
where do you get the afro?
Right, like clearly Max threw it like, hey dad, take this off, you're scaring people. Like he told him, like, you're scaring people with a fake afro, you're scaring people. And like he ends up with his that was.
But that's because Bobby is my favorite. He's been my favorite even in the first film. Like, I love his character.
Great character.
Yeah.
Like, if it wasn't family friendly, you would see Bobby is a stoner.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. He got the munchies all the time, bro.
Listen, he is
the shades on.
Shades on. Yeah, it tracks.
Always. It tracks.
It tracks. Yeah.
But so he's telling them, it's gonna be fine. Nothing's gonna change. He just has to come do his year. He's gonna stay out of our way. And he does not. Immediately oversteps.
Yep.
Immediately. But I won't go, into that because I don't know if you had that moment. Like,
I just got going into the library, so
okay, so I did have the little montage before.
Of it. Okay.
Where, as soon as they wake up in the morning, Goofy's in the dorm room. Did you guys eat breakfast? Like my first class is until noon. What are you doing?
That is crazy, dude. Like,
he opening the shades. He okay, so we see what this is about.
Yeah, we see what's going on here. Like
he's all just everywhere you turn. Everywhere Max turns, Goofy right there. He wants to study together. We're together this whole year. Me and you, right back like I like it.
Yeah. Ash, do you got anything between that montage in the library, or are you further down?
The montage as well. Him busting in, moonwalking in the cafeteria, trying to collect breakfast. Like, bro, what? Like,
Dog.
That's not what we doing here in college. That's why I got away from you. I'm just trying to do the bare minimum. You know what I mean? Get a coffee, like you said, a bagel, get a croissant. Like, bro, I'm good. You trying to do a whole gourmet situation, like hours before I even got to be up. But yeah, so Mia hit it on the nose, like just again overstepping every time to make you happy. You're not listening to me. I'm not being heard. So yeah.
And bro, these are excuse me, these are college boys. Like, bro, the college diet, bro. You ain't ain't eating that great, bro. Like, you ain't eating great at all. Like, the noodles is popping. Like, we don't need all that pop. Like, we gonna fend for ourselves. We're gonna figure it out. We'll get some cold cuts going. Like, we don't need all that, bro. I thought I showed you that when I left that morning to leave the campus. So yeah. But I got the library scene. Just like Max sets his dad up to get a library card, and Goofy gets a date. And I was happy to see this with Goofy. One thing I'll say about Goofy as a character, the thing I love about Goofy is why he's one of my favorite Disney characters ever, because he, as clumsy as he is, he has heart, and things always work out for Goofy. And something about that is I attract to that. No matter what route it goes, we'll see a later scene, and I'll explain a little bit more about why I feel that way. But yeah. But anyway, so he ends up pulling up on the librarian. The librarian ends up, setting him up, and he knows she got a mood ring. Then he has a shell, a conch shell almost, from the 70s, and they doing the Funky Duck or something like that, or like it's supposed to be, I guess, play on Funky Chicken or whatever, but they're doing the dance, and of course, somebody's doing a tour, and they catch him in the midst of it, and pretty much she's the yin to his yang. Every time he says something, she finishes his sentences, and they get set up for a date. And he was so excited, ready to tell Max, but Max was out of there. Great decoy in Max's part.
I have that scene as well. Bonding over the 70s collectibles, finally Goofy is attached to something else in this moment and he's not just focused on Max. And again, he needs that. And I always was wondering, well, we'll talk about it on the end, but yeah, so I had that scene too. Him just getting down with Miss Maripole, I think that was her name or something like that. And yeah, just vibing out to the 70s and just, got a date out of it. So I thought that was dope for him as well.
Yeah. Okay. Mia, what's the next scene that you have?
So I have Goofy meeting the Gammas for the first time and us finding out that Goofy is actually pretty talented at skateboarding too.
Okay, so when they were Max and them were practicing first, and then
Yeah.
Goofy. Okay, go ahead. My bad.
Yeah. So I have that he comes to tell Max that he got a date originally, but in true Goofy fashion, he he clumsily, runs into Max on the skateboard, and somehow it just like he does, he accidentally just ends up being great at it, like for like absolutely no rhyme or reason.
Yeah.
He's just instantly, good at it. But, so of course, Bradley, upper crust the third, sees this as an opportunity to, in his mind, he's thinking like, oh, I'm going to use Max's dad, to beat him. And in Max's mind, okay, he can keep my dad out of my hair. So of course, Bradley is like, Mr. Goof, how do you feel about becoming a Gamma, join? And then Goofy doesn't want to do it because he knows, like, no, I'm here. I want to be with my son. But Max is like, no, go ahead. You should do this. It's his plan to keep his dad out of his hair. So he does it, which we will see later doesn't go quite the way Max had planned. But we just get like a little bit more of this dynamic of everything Goofy does annoys Max. Everything he does and him out of the way. And I had that scene, and you probably have my next one. So I'm gonna just leave it there.
We probably all got that next one too. Do you have this scene as one of yours too, Ash? Yeah.
This as well.
Me too.
It just walks right on the skate ramp, like, hey Max, like, dude, you didn't even look to see if he was coming down. Like, you just walked right on the ramp. Like, there's nothing that could stop him from getting to Max by any means necessary. It's like, dude, you gotta chill. It is insanely, absurdly, it's giving obsession with your son, bro.
Yes.
Like, I'm never talking to you again.
I moved to the furthest part of the world and not telling you where I'm from, like where I'm at.
Yo, he just, again, overstepping, and like, it just was, again, like you said, just something that he just ended up being good at it. Like, you doing all these tricks and all this and that, and they're like, oh, okay, we finna recruit Gamma Brother Goofy. So it's just like,
Gamma Brother.
He kept saying that was crazy to me, but yeah, that's all I had on that scene.
Well, y'all nailed it pretty much. Like I thought about it. I was like, bro, he's walking on the skate ramp like it's just the regular lobby floor. Like, that is ridiculous. Like, hey Maxley, like bro, you can't just walk. Like, bro, I'm literally in motion. Nigga, I can't. There ain't no brakes on the skateboard, bro. Like,
you could die right now.
You can for real die, but they end up spinning, and Goofy gets it off, and of course he ends up being talented at it. And this is the point I was trying to make. Like, Goofy ends up, like, once he figures it out, because Goofy is a survivor. Like, that's the way I always looked at. Like, based on the first film, like, Goofy's a survivor, and he's not the talent. Kind of ties into the survival aspect, I feel like, with him. So him getting on the skateboard and figuring it out, and then he get fly and the flares pop out, and like he gets the perfect landing, and he like, now I see why this is so fun for you, and it's like, it's like I've been saying that, Dad. Like, okay, I got it, But I love that, he tried to push him over to the game. It's like, okay, cool, he'll be over there. We can do our thing because it ain't stopping. First, I dodged him at the library, and I'm dodging him here. So I'm creating. Because at the end of the day, Max, he's being a good son. I'm doing everything not to disrespect my father. Like I'm trying not to tell him until we finally get that part, but like he's doing everything. Say, oh, okay, no, Dad, that's a great idea. Now, why don't you go over here? Because I don't want to tell you like you're doing too much. I love you, and I get that you care about me, and you don't mean any harm. But he's finally like, eventually we'll get that transition over. But like he's doing everything to be a good son. So, our next scene, everybody got the club dancing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Mia G, what's your takes on that?
I put in my notes Goofy and Sylvia getting down because they got the disco ball coming from the ceiling. Then you hear the music.
Mm-hmm.
Shake your groove thing, yeah, yeah.
Man.
Okay, listen, Miss Sylvia was getting down, okay?
Bruh.
Okay. Fine cartoon character.
Bro.
She was so cute. Like it was the cutest thing. And she had the moves. Like Goofy was getting down. He was holding that Sylvia was cutting up.
Oh yeah, she was killing.
You see Max like, okay, if the Gammas don't keep my dad out of my hair, his new girlfriend will.
Yeah.
And it was really cute. It was just the sweetest, like little moment. And you get this feeling like, okay, Goofy is distracted. He has something. Things are starting to come together. And that's how you know that things are about to fall right on apart.
Good to be.
Most times, and I ask you, you can go, but most times, like an overbearing parent, they just need something else to focus on. That's really it. Like that's the ingredient that's missing. They need something else to focus on. Once they get that, they'll fall back on you. And now, so yeah. But go ahead, Ash.
I agree. Same thing. They were just getting down. Goofy is a good dancer.
Yeah, again.
Clumsy as can be is a great dancer. So, and Miss Maripole getting down, put the hair up in a ponytail, like, the quiet librarian, and then she get on the dance floor, she find her little boo thing. They got a lot in common, and you see that other side. So, just seeing them have fun. That was a good scene. Again, having Goofy distracted in a good way. Yeah, it was a nice transition.
Yeah, this is the a lady in the streets. No, now this is a class.
Whoa.
nah, seriously, this that classic trope where you take your glasses off in the 90s and 2000s, and all of a sudden you're the finest thing. Like they used to do this all the time, and it worked because we were kids. Like, dang, they do look good without glasses. Like, but it's
Stefan.
The Stefan. I thought he was a totally different nigga as a kid on Family Matters. This is sidebar, y'all. Sorry, but like. It literally is just like you're not scrunching your face and you take your glass out. Like I wanted to be Stefan for the record, but anyway. But yeah, like it's that thing, and you see they jaw dropped. When they see Sylvia getting busy, and Goofy got the look. He hitting the b-boy dances and all that. And I always thought Goofy. This has just always been a hot take for me, and I get these animations are not really about ethnicities and stuff like that.
What they're about to say.
But I always thought Goofy and Max were black. Like I've always felt that way, not because of their skin and the white gloves, but I just always felt that way. There's something about them that had a certain soulful aspect. I don't know what it is. I would have to probably watch the first one, and maybe that'll make the whole connection. But I always felt like, to me, I connect with them in some way where, and I think there's an episode of Atlanta. If y'all have ever watched Atlanta, that might have confirmed what I already believed. But there's an episode of Atlanta by Donald Glover. If you haven't watched it on FX, go check it out. He did this like micro episode about the creator. I don't know if this was true.
It was a satire.
Oh, satire.
It was a satirical episode, but it was basically confirming what we all think, like that we all basically think that Goofy was like a black character.
Okay. So yeah, and that's what I always thought. It's just something. So when he started hitting them dances and everything, it all just resonated for me. And then of course, the first movie, and even seeing the dude, the Tevin Campbell voicing the dancer on the power line, like that whole thing, like all it just always felt that way for me. Even some of the lady love interest and stuff like that too, and the physique. I always just felt like in my mind as a kid, I thought I was like, oh, these are like they're us, they're cartoons, but they're us, So, but anyway, that's a side tangent. If anybody got another interpretation by any means, but yeah, I just got that, and then of course there was a little moment where, was this the moment where PJ kind of has this little poetic moment, and Miss what's her name?
Miss Mochaccino.
Miss Mochaccino kind of like, oh, I love it, like, oh, that's what's up, Buddha boy. And just keep it a bean. Like, come on, like you're not pulling her, bro. Like you're a freshman. What you got me? You think
What's
so?
up?
Don't do that. Don't do
No?
PJ.
I'm doing PJ in the kind of way.
Yeah, don't do PJ.
You know what? All right, I'm jumping out there. I feel like a lady like her would go for that because she would be more deeper than a physical appearance because of everything she stands for and represents. So I can see that, but that was a surface level take. But if I keep it a being, yeah, I could see that. But as a freshman, the freshman aspect more than anything is like, all right, like he hits you with a couple of
bear.
Huh?
Just want a little teddy bear. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and I respect that.
Gerald Levert.
Your Gerald Leverts of the world, your Ruben Studders of the
Gerald,
world.
Hey.
The heavy D's of the world. You know what I mean?
Oh no.
Rest in peace, Heavy D, man.
Rest in peace. But Gerald, yeah.
Being said. Oh man, it's a silly movie, silly episode. All right, what y'all got next, man?
The skate competition. Yeah, I got that.
Yeah, the qualifying round.
Yeah, I got like after. I kind of got after that, the qualifying round. So if y'all want to go into it.
Yeah, I just had just briefness of it. Again, the Gammas, they got the cheat code activated. Got the little thing on his skateboard. Goofy ends up killing it, getting all 10s and a 9, and then Max gets out there. He bombs. I mean, he ends up recovering really well, but he still scored really low. And so he beating himself up about it. And then I got right after as well.
Okay.
Same. I have like that, that episode, that scene right after. I think we all do. That scene of Max kind of snapping off on.
Okay. So hey, what did y'all think about that Max stunt though? Like that, like when he finally recovered and he ended up doing like the one hand on the skateboard, bro. Man, that was fire, dude. I was like, y'all bugging for the 6s. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
like,
should have got an 8 at least. Like they really lowballed him.
At least a 7. Like, and I don't know what it means. I'm sure there's some subtlety of what that means that Germany scored lower with Goofy and then obviously with Max as well. I don't know what that is, but I'm sure if we looked it up on YouTube, somebody can explain what they were trying to get at. It just feels like something very significant, because they're the last score and they give you one off and it's Germany. It doesn't say like, oh, these are just judges. It has different countries and they had them as like, so I don't know what that means, but I just felt like, okay, there's something there. I didn't look it up. I should have, but but yeah, so let's get into the aftermath of the thing. Goofy kills it, Max struggles, and we finally get to this conversation between them two. So what did you have for it, Ash?
Just Max finally just telling Goofy how he feels, pretty much that he's smothering him and he's trying to get away from him, and he just again is hurting Goofy's feelings, but this is something that needs to be said because he's not understanding how overbearing he really is being and ruining his college experience. Again, he's here to do what he has to do as a grown man. Goofy, they tell you need a degree to get another job, so that's what he's here to do. But while you're doing that on the grown-up side of things, you're ruining your son's college experience. So he was fed up at this point, it was long overdue anyway. He had been crossed the line multiple times
Right.
before this, but it was just that build up, and then he let him have it. So it was a conversation that needed to be had.
I agree. And it was hard to watch though. But because I feel like Max is like, even like in the first movie, it's the thing. Max is just really, he's got that real harsh, like, way of speaking to Goofy. And I also had mixed feelings because it was like, first of all, you the one who wanted him to join the Gammas in the first place because you thought it was going to keep him out of your hair. Now you salty. You know what I mean?
But who wouldn't be salty though? Like if you
Yeah, but you reap what you sow, sir. This is
Yeah.
what you wanted. This is the seed you planted.
Well, that's true. But you don't bank on like how like you could be playing video games or playing outside as a kid, and it could be a family member or some a younger cousin, somebody, and they come and they get that beginner's luck off on you, and it's like, hold up, bro. Like hold up. Yeah, like hold up, dog. Like, it's really embarrassing. It's like really embarrassing. I remember I got beat up by my girl cousin. Like, that's one of the most embarrassing moments of my life. Like, me and my brother was wrestling, and Ash probably don't even remember this. Like, we was in Kentucky. Melanie. I know you don't remember this. I don't even know if you was around.
Oh, yeah, I was in the grass.
Yep, we was. Oh yeah, you was around. Okay, so we were in the grass, and me and my brother was getting it. I was like spanking them. You know what I'm saying? And they were like, and the big cousin was like, oh, and I was like having a moment, and then she pulled up and she was like, pick on somebody your own size. I'm like, man, stop playing, bro. Like, get out of here. Like, we little kids. And so she was like, whatever. And I'm not taking her serious. I'm like, all right, watch out. But I'm like, damn, she kind of strong. And she got the best of me, and like for real got the best of me on some like wrestling, like you did Anthony. Remember you did our cousin Anthony? Like she got the best of me, and I remember I ran away like a little girl, like like red. My grandma gave me that chain. Like I remember like having tears for real, and I remember I hid under one of my cousin's bed like for hours. I don't know if they knew I was there or not. I think they may have knew and just let me be there. But as a kid, I thought they didn't know I was there. And they was watching boxing like, where you at? Where you at? And I'm sitting there. I'm so embarrassed. I'm just hiding for hours under a bed, bro. And I'll never forget that. Like, so yeah, man, that level, that level of embarrassment, it happens, man. So it's like you got spanked by your dad, bro. He's got old bones and everything. He's goofy. He's the most, as he said, the most athletically challenged man in the world. And like he's getting off. He's doing impossible. He's not doing 720s or nothing. He's doing 5 flips in a row and all kind of crazy stuff. So, but that's when he tells us, like, man, get your own life. Like, which is like everything Mia said was absolutely true. But that at that point, it is like, Dad, I don't know what other way to say it when I'm trying to tell you, like, Dad, we're good. Hey, go do this. Hey, what? Get your own life. Leave me alone. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it is harsh and it is tough, but it seemed to resonate for Goofy in that moment. And it always made me wonder, like, what happened to Goofy as a kid? Like I know it just makes me wonder that as an adult watching. I was like, man, what happened to Goofy as a kid? What made him like this?
Like, I get it. You see, he just loves his son, but it's just too much to the point where, like, even going into the next scene, but I didn't know if anybody else had anything to say about this part. But
well, what's the next scene? I can't.
so the next scene I would have was like Goofy taking his final or his test.
Okay, I wasn't. Yeah, you. I'm sorry. You can get into that. Ash, do you got that as your next scene? I don't have that. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got that. Okay, go ahead, me.
So basically, after he gets into it with Max, he's taking a test, and you see him drifting off again, and he's, daydreaming. And I did realize like this particular movie had like a 70s like theme to it. So then even in his daydream, it's kind of like psychedelic, kind of like, he's on like an acid trip. And,
Like
he's seeing Max and all these colors, and then he's doodling on his paper. He needs medication. Goofy, you have
I agree.
ADHD, hyperfixating.
Yep.
I know, I know. He
Mm.
needs Adderall. But anyway, so again,
Mm.
now he's spiraling into more problems, and he fails his test because he doesn't finish it, and now he's got to get his grades up.
Yeah. Had the same thing, daydreaming, and then all the things that's happened, him getting fired, Max is pissed off, just everything that's kind of happening. And then you got Sylvia at the crib. She got the congratulation dinner ready. Is giving like thin line between love
Oh
and
my
hate, where
gosh,
Lynn is
bro.
at the crib with the cake, got
Hey,
the dress on. What
Oh,
we
bro.
talking about?
Dog, that's exactly.
Yo, I mean, come on now. So he's just blowing it all around the board right now. So yeah, I had those two moments.
Yeah, that I didn't have the moment, but just to speak to it, like just to get your own life, and like the scenery of it was really good, like that wanna be happy, like the music, like it does sound like a psychedelic trip. And like seeing Max is all good for a moment, he looks funny, then he just puffs up and he hits him and flips him off the thing, and he just starts falling and going through the. So yeah, it was deep, like it's a deep scene. Again, this movie, again, being in the realm of a lot of those bad Disney sequels, I feel like this one, it held up in that middle ground. If that moment kind of, it held in that, because I could see what they were going for. You know what I'm saying? I could see what they were going for. So that moment. But anyway, so the next scene that I got is when the gang has to lift Max back up. Is that what y'all got next?
mm-mm.
Okay.
Yeah, I have that.
You have that too. Okay, so he goes back to, what is the coffee bean? What is the spot called?
Java
The
beans.
Java Bean. Fire name. Uh, but he going back to the Java Bean. He's down about it, and Max pretty much is like, man, bro, how'd I lose to my dad? Like, he's the most athletically challenged man I know in the world. And man, listen to me when Bobby and PJ came through and lift a dog up. Are you going to let Brad force you out? No. Are you going to let the people that once cheered for you cheer for your old man? No. Man, listen, bruh. I was hyped with them. It's a cartoon, I get it, but like, I was like, hold up. It was like, nigga, we came here with nothing, bro. We ain't just about to throw in a towel, bro. I don't care if we rank 99. Chances are there's still a chance. Shouts out to Love of Basketball. So it's like, no, bro, I'm not about to let that happen. Like, and I love how hyped they were. And then, of course, I can't, Miss Mocha Chino. She just has her simple quote was, "Boys will be boys." So it was a perfect fitting thing. I'm not gonna get overly deep. That's one of those moments, and I think she even appreciated that. Like sometimes it's not this overly deep thing. Sometimes that camaraderie is necessary. So they was getting so hype, and that, I mean, me being a man once a boy, I it resonated for me. Like it got me hyped too, because it's how it is as boys. Like your homeboy will lift you back up. Like they will lift you back up on some, like, bro, I don't care about all that other stuff. This is, I believe in you, dog, and we can get back to it. Trust me. So yeah, that scene is just one of them ones. Like I love it. I'm a fan of old movies when they used to do that, like how they get people back into stuff. Like that was a trope we used to see a lot of, when they be like, it's over for me. This is the end of it. Even Space Jam, when they lost their powers and then get it back and all that. Once eventually we will do Space Jam, but yeah, I'm a big fan of that. So I was glad to see that in this part. Ash.
Yeah, you couldn't have said it better, bro. You pretty much covered the bases. He was talking about transferring schools and everything. It's only room for one goof. So I mean, he was pretty much conceding in that moment. So yeah, just having the friends lift him back up, remind him who he is. Sometimes we need that when we are feeling down in those moments. So yeah, couldn't have said it better, man. You covered it well.
Right on. And are we at the X Games, the official? That's what everybody else got left. Next.
Yeah, I got that little part where Goofy stands up to the Gammas.
Okay.
I mean, he was kind of really getting into that bag. Again, no clumsiness or nothing. Like, he was
Yeah.
snatching the pool stick from him and, like, the bigger dude stepping up to him. So I just like that little moment where he was putting his foot down, like, I'm not finna run with your squad against my son. I got to make everything right. And so I just had that little bit of peace before the X Games. So yeah,
Well,
like that.
and that's a part of what I love Goofy for, because no matter even when they're doing the link up where there's other films or cartoons where it's Goofy, Donald, and Mickey, Goofy's still the same person. Like, he's still this, like, I'm still scared, but I'm gonna do the right thing. Like, it's something about that's what makes him, being, even though he's goofy and clumsy, he has such heart, and that's what I love that Goofy character so much for. I'm not the person that would get an animation tattoo, but if I were like that person, Goofy probably he be in the running. I'm not saying he'd be first, but he'd be in the running because I really like Goofy a lot. Like, but for that moment you just spoke of, like, so, um, but yeah, okay. Well then, Mia. So let's get into the X Games.
So I didn't have that much about it.
Okay.
Again, this is the one thing that I had, like the few things that I had were PJ getting what happened to PJ where he couldn't participate?
Uh,
Because I feel like
that was Bobby in the Mud. PJ,
Remember.
something. I felt like something happened when he fell off somewhere. I cannot remember, but yeah, he was out of there, and of course that creates an even bigger
exactly.
challenge of their team now.
Right. So, they didn't have enough people. Max puts the call out to his dad, like, hey, dad. And it was so cute, like the way it was like, Dad, I need you. And then he's like, Max is in trouble. And then you see Max on the screen, like, no, I'm not in trouble. Like,
Yeah.
we just, we need you to come through because we need an extra person. So he gets there. And, in true 90s animated film fashion,
Mm-hmm.
what else could happen?
Mm.
They do their thing and Max is up winning a trophy. Oh, well, I'm skipping a lot of things. I know that you'll probably want to talk about
Yeah, of course.
the somehow or another, again in true Goofy fashion, we end up with a huge fire and they're trapped
Oh man.
in the was it like
It's like a blow up balloon, the X Games, like
like
blow up balloon
boat
thing with
or something?
yeah, kind of like that, yeah.
And they end up, helping Tank, the big guy, the big Gamma,
Help
and
me, baby. Somebody.
Bradley Uppercrust the Third doesn't care about
Oh
anything but
man,
winning.
listen.
But Max and Goofy save the day, and then, Goofy and Tank end up pushing Max forward and telling him to do your thing. And he ends up winning fair and square against Bradley Uppercrust the Third. And then that is all I have until we just go into like the ending.
Okay. Ash.
Had the same. Gamma's got the cheat code activated again, changing the course and everything. And then again, just speaking to Mac's character, going back to help Tank out. It wasn't just about winning for him, and that's why he's a stand-up guy. I can't say it enough about Max and Goofy obviously doing anything to help his son per usual, whether it be in the most clumsiest fashion. He gonna put his best foot forward, right?
Yeah.
He's not trying to be clumsy. That's the thing. He just is.
Yeah.
And so things turn out the way that they are. But yeah, so they, and then the part where Tank is like, you got some sun there. You know what I mean? And so I thought that was dope as well. And yeah, they pushed him forward. My boy got the dub, and then he even called off the bet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He wasn't even. He was like, don't even worry about the bet no more. You got to deal with my guy Tank over here. So
yeah.
So yeah, that's all I had.
For me with the X Games, like the fix was in a minute ago because they've been doing this for years, and like they had to find a way to survive because all the people were losing by far because Like, you got to think about the extent of preparation to cheat this at this level. They're like, get the old lady. Like, boom, one of them dress up as old lady. That means you got to get the glasses, the wig, the dress, the cane. You got to change the course. You got to make sure you got some metal that moves the haystack from this way to that way to detour. Like, the level of cheating that the Gammas went through, bro, like, this is professional level cheating. Like, that's the thing that stood. I said, bro, you got to understand the preparation for this. Like, I just, not that I respect cheating, but I respected the preparation that it took. Cause I'm like, you niggas is dedicated. The fact that y'all got all these things in the way, like, y'all got marbles falling on the ground. Like, it's ridiculous how much y'all went through the lifts to get them out of there. And I love how, you know, Bobby's bike got messed up. He got dropped in the mud. And he's like, you know, Max, keep going. Like, and Max single-handedly had to save his team, bruh. And then, of course, like I said, he went to get Tank. And, man, while Tank is in there about to, you know, fighting for his life, because literally that thing is on his back and he cannot get it off. Bradley Uppercrust, after, you know, he got hit with the horseshoe, shouts out to Goofy for the horseshoe. And shout out to the, you know, the egg, the Easter egg planted in the beginning of the episode, the movie, coming back, and he hit Bradley Uppercrust, but his chin still hits the button. And the fact that, like, they went and got him, and Bradley Uppercrust is riding smooth on the skateboard, just like it's a beautiful day in Mr. Rad's neighborhood. Like, he's looking around like it's all good. And it's like, bro, your teammate is about to die and you're just smoothly cruising. And man, when the dust settles, they get to going again. I'm still a fan of this. Like, I know it's cliche now. People are like, oh, it's predictable. It's all, but I still go for this. We want to see wins in life still, y'all. Like, I get it. It's, you know, it's not realistic. It's not, you know, whatever people say that now, it's too predictable. It's too, I seen that coming, but it's like, we still want wins in life. And it's okay to let them win in the movie, because sometimes we don't always win in real life. And so it's okay to, like, have something to cheer for. So when they did that, and you got all three of them on the skateboard, and then he gets there, he beats Bradley Uppercrust. And not to mention, we probably won't get into it that much, but like the announcer, like the dude is like, Goofy, like how he kept cutting dude off. Like, that was so good, bro. Like, that was just some funny, and shouts out to ESPN. Like, that's a real sponsor in this movie. Like, I thought that was crazy, because you don't get to just put their name on there, but like, you had real ESPN and the blimp and all that. So yeah, just a great scene. And like, Max, he was, you know, he got his LeBron James on, like his freshman year, he killed it, you know. So and obviously the last scene, Mia, what did you want to add to that last scene?
Oh, the only thing I have was just that it was really sweet that Goofy graduated.
Mhm.
And when he graduated, Max gave him his trophy, and he had it, you know, what is it called?
Is it
Engraved.
engraved? Yes.
Yes, he had it engraved with that sweet little message. I may not be your little boy, but I'll always be your son.
Mm.
And, you know, it was just a really sweet, like,
Okay. Ash.
but I, you know, I have thoughts after
Okay.
we're done.
Okay. Well, we'll get the thoughts before we get into the character we relate to. Ash.
Same thing. Just happy to see Goofy, you know, got his lady back. You know, they about to ride off in the sunset. He tricks him and says, what did he say? He was like,
He got to get a job out there or something like that on
I'm
campus or
gonna be
something like
working
that.
at the school. Like, dude, I think he could have not handled that. So I'm so glad it was a joke. But yeah, it was just nice to see Goofy finally, you know, like I said, he got his degree, so you can go get you a job, and now you got your lady, and yeah, you can go do your own thing. I'm always gonna be your son, but I gotta do my thing. You know what I mean? So yeah, I just tied it all in. I thought it was a good ending. So
Yeah, them, and I just love the understanding they came to. Just to add to y'all part, it's just that there was an understanding, and you got to remember early in the movie, the lady was pushing Goofy to go back to college because he only literally had one single year to get his degree because he had went to college back in the day. So, you know, it worked perfectly. Again, for Max, it's the end of the world. But if he were older, he probably was like, okay, my dad got to do a year. He chose to go here, whatever, you know. But it's cool to see, like, Goofy graduated. He got his, he got his paperwork, and now he's gonna be doing well, even better than what he was doing now that he got a college degree. Education Connection, get connected for free. Do a test to get a college degree.
Right.
Man, that's a lie. It's all lies.
Swear.
But before we get into the character we relate to, Mia, you say you got some additional thoughts. What you got?
So again, where I because while we're talking about the pivotal moments, it just never really occurred to me to speak about it. But like I was saying at the beginning, the places where I feel like the movie kind of fell flat for me or
Okay.
didn't quite measure up. And I'm hoping that we'll cover a Goofy movie, the original, one
Oh,
day. So I won't talk too much about it. But I
absolutely.
think the things that kind of fell for me were when you look back, there there was the vibe was different. Like you have this very 90s vibe with the first movie, and it has like this very because the 90s were a different time. Everything was a lot more.
Can I ask you a question real quick?
Yeah.
Do you think this would fit in the things you could do without? Or do you feel like it's something else?
You know what? It's not necessarily something I can do without, more something that I could have done with, but I can still save
Oh.
it.
No, well then go ahead then. That's fair enough. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I just wanted to make sure, but yeah, you got to go ahead.
There was no original music. And I feel like the original music is one of the things that really,
Mm.
really made the first film what it was. Not just the Powerline songs and the songs that, were made like that, but the original songs that Goofy and Max sang as well, like
Mm.
at the beginning and end. And I feel like that element was kind of missing for me. And I feel like if you're gonna do a sequel to a movie that was so heavily influenced by and driven by music, and then just to not have an original music element, it kind of like disconnects it for me.
Mm. Was that all that you had in that regard? I didn't even catch that.
Like that was the
That's great
thing.
that you pointed that out. I didn't even think about that. That's a great point.
Yeah, I think that's what made it kind of fall flat for me was that the first movie was so driven by the music and this one didn't have any,
Mm.
you know.
Okay. Um. All right. So get into our next section. Character that you relate to or identify with. Ash, I'm gonna throw the ball in your court first.
Sure. I can definitely relate to Max. Um, he loved his pops, but he was trying to carve out his own identity. So that can go with the mother or the father. So I think with me and my mother, I think the transition of me getting older and carving out my own life, having a son myself, it kind of can be hard to detach. So just trying to find that balance of being the best daughter I can be, but also understand that I am a grown daughter now. So I may parent differently, have a different opinion on something. So I think that is a struggle in our relationship that we are continuously working on and overcoming. But I think so obviously the giveaway for me was I'm sorry, the connection for me was Max because of my connection with my mother, how it's so hard as a parent to be able to kind of let go of the
Mm-hmm.
reins and
Mm-hmm.
understand that I'm gonna take everything that you taught me and all the morals and values and, still that in my own life as well as my son's, but you gotta let me do my own thing.
Mm.
So definitely relate to Max.
Wow. Relatable content.
Hmm.
Uh what about you, Mia G?
Oh man, Ash. Yes, indeed. Right there with you. Like I think I also relate mostly to Max. Now, of course, I relate to Goofy's ADHD, but I relate to Max in the sense that he my parents aren't overbearing, but like my mom used to call me like Peter Pan because I'm just like I'm her baby.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of the times with our parents, they'll never see us like as grown. Even when we're grandparents, they're not going to see us as grown. And it comes to a point where we struggle as adult children to be firm in our boundaries. And that's something that I can relate on where it comes to like just setting boundaries with your parents all the time. You don't have to know everything I'm doing. You don't have to be involved in everything I'm doing. Sometimes it's okay for you to just be over there. I'm grown. I can handle it on my own. If I need you, I will call for you and then you can step in, but I don't need you to like insert yourself. And so you have to draw boundaries with your parents. Max was struggling with his boundaries, which is why he snapped off on Goofy so many times. And so I feel like that's where I relate to Max.
That was really insightful. I like that. He's a very relatable character. Super curveball for y'all, but I'm going with Pete. PJ's father. Man, listen. Man, he raised his son. He sent him to college, and he's ready to see what Pete want to do for once. What do I want to do? You know what I want to do? I want to be chilling at the crib. I'm about to be grilling all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like he's 100% correct in, when Goofy came back to the crib for a moment because he got fired, he was like, man, well, college don't prepare you for the real world and all that. In some sense, like that's true. Like it's very true. There's a whole lot of different hustle and bustle that you did not get in college. College is a microcosm, and I attended college, and it's a microcosm, but like it really, the real world is, I'll be honest, it's nothing like college. I'm gonna tell you straight up. Like college did not prepare me for none of this as a child that's grown up. But I love college, and it was fun. It was good to get like that kind of dip your toe in the water, but it was nowhere near the whole ocean. So, but just Pete. Like again, I ain't rushing for my children to grow up, but it is a thing that when you have kids, you want to raise them and you want them to be successful. You want them to have a beautiful childhood like we had, but you also understand that this is, just from mandatory protection and all those. I mean, mandatory, like just caregiving, that's an 18-year commitment, so that's 18 years of kind of putting yourself off in some sense, being selfless to take care of your child or children. And so at some point of time, you want to say, like, who am I at this point now? And so some people get that bird nest syndrome where they're like, oh, I miss my kid, this and that, which I think we all will. But at the same time, for me, it's like, once you get to that point, it's like, okay, now I can get back to saying who I was. And now we can reassess how the whole situation works. Okay, if I'm Pete, PJ's coming back to the crib on the holidays. All right, it's good. We linking up, son. Let's get together. But again, it's what does Pete want to do? So for me, definitely, like I wasn't necessarily connecting with Goofy more so than Pete. Like I definitely was connecting to Pete.
I'm shocked. I thought you was gonna say Goofy for sure.
Nah, he doing way too much. I ain't got that type of. I don't have that type of emotional, like. I love my kids, but I it's impossible for me to be overbearing. Like I don't have that level of whatever that was Goofy had. I don't have it like at all. That's a different level, which is normally more a motherly trait. Actually, to me, I feel like that level of because when mothers carry the children, y'all are so much like that connection, that maternal connection with children is so different versus like a father. So I've never seen that level of in my actual life of that level of overbearing from father, unless their kid is like some athlete or something. You're like overly invested in like, oh, they're going to be a professional baseball player or something. But outside of that, like, because Goofy wasn't invested in Max's skateboarding. Like he was just all in him because he just loved his kid. But to each his own.
Listen, I'm probably way more of a Pete parent than a Goofy parent.
Hey, come
I
on.
love you.
I
But
love you. Do your thing. Go have fun. Like, um, Mia, or actually Ash, what's your favorite song in the movie?
I want to say this. Mia has hit it on the nose because I was like, there's something
Mm,
missing for me. Like, I'm not enjoying it like the first one. And again, hate to compare, but it's just hard not to. And so even with picking my favorite song, I'm like, I don't recall a lot of music. So I ended up going with Peaches and Herb, Shake a Groove thing. So
fair.
I chose that, but really there was minimum music for me, and it just I don't know. I think that can instantly make the movie more serious. And
Mm,
there were funny moments on this movie, but I don't feel like I laughed as much as I did on the first one
mhm,
as well.
mhm.
Oh, my bad. I probably could have put that in the. But yeah,
Oh,
Shake a
yeah.
Groove thing with Peaches and Herb.
All right, that's fair. Y'all making great points. I'm seeing where y'all coming from now, and I can take that. Mia, what about you?
I went with the same
Okay.
Shake a Group thing because,
She's a dancer, you know.
All right. Relax, bro. All right. Well, I mean, of course, Mia, hitting the chicken head, like,
Exactly. Mia G,
yeah,
chicken head.
Mia
You feel me?
G hitting Mia G with the dance moves, Ad
Mm-hmm.
Boy with the dance moves. For me, it's actually the song after the "You Make Me Feel Like Dancing." I'm gonna dance the night away when they was doing a little hand gesture, like
Yeah.
the mood
uh,
ring.
yeah, the mood ring and stuff. I like it was just a vibe. I like that, like whatever. So that was cool. Ash, things you could do without.
Um, I couldn't really pinpoint anything that I could do without. Again, just I was missing, which was that musicality. Um, so I can't really pinpoint exactly. It was the movie was okay to me. It was just okay for me. So yeah.
Okay, so maybe we need to change this segment to things that the movie needed. Because I think that's 3 episodes where you had, yeah, I don't know if Mia has something that could do without, but that's 3 episodes of not having
Oh yeah.
any. Not to say a movie like Lion King's damn near perfect, Toy Story's damn near perfect too, obviously. But a movie like this where y'all didn't like it as much and not having anything you do without, we may need to change the segment to things the movie needed. How do y'all feel about that?
Things the movie could have done better.
Things that could have done
Mhm.
better. Things
Done
that
better works.
okay. So maybe something along the lines of things you would change about the movie.
Yeah, I like
Okay.
that.
So let me throw that here. All right. What about you, Mia? For this time, things you could do without.
Um, there wasn't much about the movie that I felt like was unnecessary to the plot.
Okay.
It's just that I don't feel like the plot was as original as the first film. I feel like the first film had a very original storyline, like for a Disney film.
Okay.
This one was tropey, it was very um sequel-esque, it had that kind of conflict that most of the movies around the time had, where there's like, us versus the popular, what
Mhm.
have you. Um, so it's not that there was something that I felt that I could have done without. It's just the movie was like Ashley, it was okay. It was enjoyable for the time. I feel like as a sequel, I enjoyed it in 2000. And now, it's not something that I would, put on, but it needed music. It needed some
Okay.
original music.
Okay. For me, just a couple of things. The single dads, like where are the mothers? Where are the mothers? Like I could do without like both Pete and Goofy not having the mother around. I don't know what I know that's like there's a deep thing with Disney and mothers or something like that. I don't have that information on hand. I may have seen it in passing, but I just like I could do without like both of them. Like we could have got something like, oh, the mother passed, it's just been me, you, Maxie. What something, Mia?
I had an epiphany just now.
Okay.
And it was because you said something about the mothers missing. So you remember the Goof Troop TV show, right?
Yeah.
So Pete had a wife in that show. Pete
Okay.
had a wife, and PJ had a mom and a little sister.
Okay.
And I don't know where they were, like as far as the movies are concerned,
When
because
did the
it's
Goof Troop come out? Let me see. Was that after this movie?
I don't think so, because they were like little kids
Oh,
TV
I
show.
remember PJ having
you're right.
having a wife. Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah, Pete had a wife, and there was a daughter too, like a younger daughter.
hmm.
Yeah, this
You
could
can
turn
go
into
look
a.
it
This sound like a horror film.
up. Yeah,
I can't miss you if you're not gone.
PJ had a mom and a little sister.
You're
Uh,
right.
but it was on
1992. Sorry.
Yeah, so it was before, and I guess they just decided to cut them out. But what I will say is the epiphany I just had was this whole movie felt like an episode, like it could have been broken like an episode of like a TV show.
Hmm.
Like it didn't feel like a feature film so much as if like the conflict that they had felt like an episode of a ongoing plot TV show.
Mm. Okay, that's fair. So it just didn't have that epicness to it.
Yeah, it was like
It was melodramatic,
anticlimactic.
anticlimactic. Okay. Uh, the other thing that I could do without is just the whole poetry thing. Like
Mhm.
that's just a thing for me. Like Love Jones. Like when people doing that,
Ooh,
it's
ooh.
hey, look.
Hey,
Um,
we
That was
keeping
like
that.
my favorite part of the Love Jones movie.
you know what? You're right. Actually, you're right. That is my favorite part of it too. Because outside of that, no, sir.
I have
But
another one,
but
but
then again, like Brown Sugar, like they kind of doing it. It was this. It was. It's just when people do poetry, it's like painting. It's like when people try to overexert a painting and say, "Oh, you don't see the strokes of this and this." Oh, but like, bro, knock it off. You literally took
form of art,
you
bro.
took your paint and just splattered. Don't piss on me and say that it's
Oh,
perfect
come
water.
on.
I no stop.
Bro,
Like
it's
Pete,
art.
no, okay, it's art, but don't try to tell me it's worth this amount of money when it took this long to do. Like, nigga, I'm an artist. Like, that's how I feel. Like, I just like stop playing with me. If it's worth that, educate me why. Don't tell me, oh, you did this and like, oh, this is from the finest paint that came from over Italy or came from over. Like, don't stop playing. I hate when niggas do that like overly deep and then you don't have a real rhyme or reason and then you just like that. It's just artist is what it is, bro. It's just like no, knock it off, bro. Get out of my face. So when it comes to
That's the
poetry, it's
feel
like
of it.
it's cool. I get it. Like I'm not mad at you doing it, but you're not. There's this kind of attitude that people that like in this movie, they have this kind of complex that like I'm like you're not saying you're better than me, but the way you navigate because I feel so deep about things, like I'm in a different place than you. And I'm not gonna say I'm better than you, but I'm saying something, and you put the pieces together, and that's how I always feel when I hear. I'm like, bro, get out of here. So that I could definitely always do with that. I actually like her as a character because she felt rooted in reality. I didn't need the poetic stuff, but you know, it wasn't. Now that I'm older, it wasn't crazy poetic. Like you're down, you're spiraling. You're the fly in my milk. You're the, you know, all. I'm like, okay, cool. Like you're annoying
Buy
me.
my milk.
You're killing my vibe. Like, so I got it, but I can do without that. And that's the only two things that I could have done without. But we'll be changing that segment. Um, I'm gonna throw it in your court, Mia G. What's the moral of the story in your opinion? What did you get?
What I took from it, what I felt like I could take from it was just it's okay to let go. It's okay to let go.
Mm, that's deep. That's deep. That's wow. It's okay to let that. That is just one of those simple. Wow, like you bodied that. Damn. Sometimes it's like right in front of you, and it's so deep, and you just let it marinate, and that just wow, that was cold. I didn't even think about that. It's okay to let it go. Damn, Ash.
That's so good. I said to overcome challenges and have open communication. I think it is more easy to give up on something than to stick it out. And during those uncomfortable times, and a lot of times as people, we don't finish the things we start, but we always have goals that we want to accomplish. And so I think that it starts with finishing the tasks set out to meet those goals and have, be open and transparent with one another about, how you feel and be able to express ourselves, no matter how hard the conversation may be. And just being able to create that awareness.
Mm. Are you pulling that from Max's like challenge of
So both the
oh,
challenges that Goofy had as far as, trying to this degree so he could be able to, get back employed and take care of
okay.
business on the adult side.
Mm.
And then Max overcoming the overbearingness challenge of his dad being in his college, still trying to win this, the X Games along with, so yeah,
That's cold. That's
I
fire
think they
too.
both had challenges. Mhm.
Y'all are wonderful co-hosts. Yeah, I got this.
Thank you.
Just to conclude, the moral story for me is, life is just full of adjustments, and even when you have a Max moment where you have that look that he had, when his dad pulls up. I always, we always, me and my sister always reference the Martin scene of, first when I came in here, I told you, Daryl, I told you to sit your dumb ass down. But I was wrong. That was wrong of me. When Gina and him went on the retreat or the therapy or whatever. But anyway, bringing it back to Goofy, life is just full of adjustments. And even then, even though he was trying to finesse in a way to try to figure out how to get away from his dad, he had to keep readjusting. It's like, I got to keep readjusting to figure this out, and even then, while readjusting, he understood that his dad was fired. He understood the importance, and he got to find a way to etch out and carve his own reputation regardless, and still keep a relationship with his dad because he loves his dad. So it just shows you like life is full of adjustments, and you got to make the best of it when you have to adjust. You still got to find some kind of joy and fun in it, and he did with his boys regardless. Like even when they went back to the bean or whatever, like you got to find your hope and your fun in adjusting. It's just not adjustments for the worse. It's got to be for the better as well. So yeah, and that's our episode. But before we get out of here, we told y'all that what we're going to shoot to do is every 3 movies, which would be each of a pick from us, we'll switch categories, we'll switch genres, switch actor focuses, we'll switch whatever we decide to switch. So again, this is rewatching childhood films, not child films. So I want to make sure that's understood, y'all. So every movie's not a child film. Like it's more of a nostalgic thing, not a child film. So I want y'all, I don't think this is the podcast they just review kid movies. This is not that. This is not that at all. So, but we do review kid movies as well as other movies. So just understand that. So we're going into the next category. We said we're going into the family friendly, family type of movies, holiday spirited movies, and Ash is going to reveal to us what the next movie to be is. Again, we don't know what the movie is, so it's always a surprise when we get to this segment. And she has the last movie pick of November before we start obviously getting into our Christmas theme fully. So without further ado, Ash Bash, what you got?
Yes, sir. Oh, what a great time to be alive, guys.
We're on the edge of our seats.
Yeah, this is a great family movie. I'm taking us back 1993. What better than the late great Robin Williams with Mrs. Doubtfire?
Oh yeah.
Yes, sir. Talk to me nice.
I just flipped this switch.
Yes.
Yes.
I had another one in mind, but I was like, I'm finna switch it up on them. That's a movie that I loved. I remember watching it plethora of times. So I thought it'd be dope to go ahead and add that to the collection.
Well, real quick, what made you pick that? Because we don't really talk about it once we get into it the following episode. So real quick, after all of the deliberation and trying to find something, because I know at one point you were having a challenge, what made you choose that specifically? Because it's so many ways you could take it, and you got the last November date before we get into our Christmas films. And so you had a lot of pressure, low key. So real quick, I know we got to get out of here.
It was a lot of pressure. I'm like, dang, I got to be the first one to switch it off. I don't know. I was just thinking about movies I grew up on. This is very nostalgia for me. I remember watching it. Well, I don't want to step on, the
Yeah,
episode, but
yeah.
it's very nostalgia for me. Robin Williams
Mm-mm.
is one of a kind. And I don't know, like it's just a movie that I really enjoy watching. And I wanted to kind of bring up the age a little bit, let's bring it up a little bit, add
Yeah,
add a little bit of the grownish side to it
yeah.
as well, outside of the animation. So yeah, that's how I went with it, man.
Listen, you killed that, bro. I had no, I didn't had no idea.
No
Mia,
hints.
what you think about that pick, Mia?
I would have never guessed it, but I love it.
Yes,
Okay, great,
Love,
beautiful.
great.
love, love Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yes, absolutely. Ah, man, I'm excited. It just brought even more butterflies again. Like, oh, I can't wait to do this again. But that is our episode. Stoop Kids, we're getting out of here. The street lights is coming on, and we got to make sure we all get back home because we don't want to get in trouble. It's dinner time, and everybody got to go home. We got to get ready for school tomorrow. So, man, we thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure y'all get home safe as well. Hopefully, y'all getting that nostalgia on your Tuesdays. Y'all want to reach out to us. childishgrownups3@gmail.com. Leave a review or comment on YouTube as well as Spotify, Apple podcast. We'll see y'all later. Peace out.